against a team that is struggling near the bottom of that scoreboard. 7 points, 9th place, shared with Team Secret, also on 7 points. Outsiders has been having a rough stage.
I think the whole region, unfortunately, has sort of, obviously, things are happening, but it's that sort of thing. The two teams are at the bottom of the board. Outsiders have sort of suffered. They've had some fights. It's not as dire. Obviously, technically, there still is a chance. It's a technical chance. It's a chance that requires a lot of other things to happen and to fall apart from teams that are pretty much a sliver of a percent away, and they're a sliver of a percent from failure, but still, Outsiders, they haven't quite been able to get the cinch in. It has been a lot of close games, though. Obviously, their most recent wasn't.
No.
You couldn't be further away from a close game.
Might have been close in different ways. I don't know. But also got 7-0'd by Rogue. It's not the first one they received, of course. 7-1 down the line. But the other games, yeah, quite close indeed. Able to put up some good scores with the teams that are up on the top, up near that top 2 position. Just not doing it when it matters. Not getting these rounds, these wins, these points.
Hap, my buddy, my chum. Talk to me about a Jaeger ban on Cafe.
That's not what's coming up now. But yeah, okay, Jaeger. Of course, Jaeger is one of those operators that still is a mainstay in Siege. Grenades are crucial. But if we think directly of the skylight, going down into the cocktail balcony, for example, you can just easily get rid of any utility there, any players there. Think of below, near the bakery. Suddenly the cupcake bar not as sturdy as it used to be before anymore. And this middle side that we're talking about now heavily relies on the top floor to be controlled by defenders as well. And thus, exactly there, that Jaeger ban will have an impact again because players will be playing near the cocktail area. And that means a mine needs to be brought out to kind of mitigate that. You know, sometimes when mine's brought as redundancy, sometimes it's extra denial. This time it's crucial.
I think one of the things, I know I alluded to your point, I wanted you to talk for a little bit. I like hearing your brain. A Jaeger ban we don't see too much nowadays. If anything, will Mize become a little bit more of a mobile operator because, to be honest, 70% of the grenade kills we see nowadays are from underneath. They're from a combo of yellow pings and possession and progression onto the site itself. What we're looking at here from the bans of MNM is Jaeger is a Flores gone. As you said, they're trying to limit that play around utility on the site itself. They're forcing things to be awkward, open, and a bit quick fire because that's a game that MNM can play very, very well here. The aggression might start finding its way over, just tacked onto the other side. No quick Amaru to get a plant, but you're looking at what can be, as soon as they get the lead in here on the top floor, some good lean-ins to fights.
Of course, they're also in the reading, so taking that top floor is not going to be helping you to get that plant quickly. It's a slow, methodical process they need to go through here on MNM's side. Go for the full clear, potentially even push that side with 20 seconds left. If you lose those drones in the positions in the actual side, it's going to become even harder to finally go for the execute once the time is right. Now, we do see some of these players up on the top floor. One already inside, they're trying to put some pressure down onto exactly cocktail balcony, onto train and onto the freezer. They know where these players are. Actually saw one prone there, but no shots fired yet.
Asher as well with that shield. You want to try and keep a bit of a lockdown here on the top. Smash is suffering from underneath. Very clever angle played up there. There's those grenades. I said they come through underneath. Usually they're not delivered via a hole in the floor, but they're allowed to survive at least a little bit longer. The drones, they're trying to pick apart just that single player. If they can get control of them, then they might have a bit of a lead-in into the pressure around onto train itself. You can get a bit of a control over the swing round. That onto white. Do they know?
They do. That's
no, they didn't. Milon had no idea that was coming his way.
Oh, I'll tell MNM. They knew someone was out there,
knew.
Right? Yeah, they definitely knew there was a player.
You don't just grenade that window for fun.
No, exactly. That's one of those windows you need to know someone is behind. Claymore spotted out by Rask there. Fortunately, has no utility to deal with that. No impact, for example. FMX finds a trade, but he's being hunted down as he falls back just in time.
This is it. They're going to try and swing the pressure into Smash here. They use that grenade just to buy them a second of movement. They're hoping the player comes for the swing, but it is a shotgun locked, loaded, and pointed for anybody that drifts a little bit closer around. There's the drone. Going to get the reveal. There's the pop of the player, and a pre-fire should come. There it is. Users able to find one more, put the body balance back in their favor, but we're looking at 30 seconds now to try and get the lockdown, and Tyrant, he's having to potentially knock on the door. The players still have vertical control. They still have that back line. Some of them are actually going to start dropping themselves and see if they can try and put some counter pressure as they realize the plant is aiming towards dining side, but it's the fight inside Zulu corridor in the middle that's getting a little bit aggressive. All the powers of that anime girl Gunskin there from the side of Elevate is finding FMX's second. There's a third! And suddenly, they're in a bit of a leading drive here. Tyrant's a bit lost in the corridor, and Rask finds the final fight.
MNM there, they ran out of time. They decided to, you know, let's just pull the trigger on dining because we have train under control. We can go through the 90 hallway. Just no control of white stairs. That player behind there, FMX, you said it before, the triple kill with that Vector, just shutting them down one by one as they start to walk through. It's not something you'd like to see. They need to have a bit more control if they want to go for a push like that. It normally works when you're in a, you know, an XV2 situation because there's not enough angles to cover them. But if there's 4 players still alive on the side of outsiders, they're going to be able to, well, more than definitely lock off this side, as you see right now again from FMX POV.
The power of Elevate and Anime on his side. Ah!
Is that the power? Is that what it sounds like?
Have you not seen that? Please tell me you're
I've heard the power of God on Anime.
Yeah,
yes,
and I made...
Yes, no, I've definitely heard the reference.
If you hadn't have heard that, I would tell you to get out of your Milsim world.
I've heard it, don't worry.
Just confirmed down the comments he was fuming thinking that Hap didn't understand that reference.
I definitely understood the reference. Don't worry, come on. It's fine.
I'm never calm.
Okay. Let's just continue then. I'll just try and brush over the fact that I was almost falsely accused of not knowing such a famous quote reference.
Outsiders, the first round is theirs, and it came down to a bit of aggression onto time. I commented on it at the time. The rotate dropped down. They had the idea that the plant wasn't going to happen around reading. And that's sort of what that big, heavy, dedicated hold was. You had the player just on that sort of border of lumber, of wood, and they could drop down to the laundry hatch if they wanted to pull back. They were making sure that nobody got the swing round on the top. They had the mirror window as well, because usually it's a tucked plant when you get that bit of vertical control. MNM tried to gamble, ran out of time, and it was a good response from outsiders to drop down, and it seems like time is going to become a little bit less of an issue, theoretically, as Tyrant takes the Jackal and takes to the top floor to force these players down quick.
I almost got spooked by the drone there. Wanted to fire a couple of shots towards it, but it's actually, you know what? It's time to go drone ourselves. Is that someone being spotted out on the camera? It definitely is. 1, 2, they know 2 people are on side with this IQ pick. Also spotting out some of these yokai, so definitely getting some good information here. And as they have cleared out the top floor, they have now cleared out that first floor as well. That means they can start working on verticality here, Emi. They can start sledging, they can start using these breaching charges, make sure that these positions in the side are going to become unplayable. Force them to push outside of the side, which allows a plan to happen a bit more easily. And besides that, take out those yokai drones as you have the IQ on the board.
They still obviously have the Capitao as well, the option to see if they can try and drive some smoke plants. The Wamai might be the constant, and here's obviously a big counter towards how they can get themselves tucked in. Neo's going to go for a bit of damage and destruction just above Pasha, who doesn't quite get the early warning sign, but that's the benefit of playing those leave and lay charges. If they don't hear you, you can move away before you suffer the end of a C4. The sledge keeps hammering, and then making the space a little bit tighter, a little bit more dangerous and difficult for outsiders to play with every single hit. You can see them being shepherded and forced into more uncomfortable angles, but without the confirmation on the end, it's still just time that's going away from them.
Know exactly where one of those players is. That is going to be the pickup as well. Neo will find the first. Solotov knows someone is in VIP, tries to, well, loop back, but the smoke canister kind of in the way, so they might just have to go for an execute here.
He's looking for the hole through. There's a bit of the cover from the smokes. Now they might be able to swing round. That's just to buy Solotov some time. The drop comes round on the back. They've got the kit in and tucked behind the sinks. They're just going to see if they can connect the plant. The cover comes through from the opposite side inside Freezer. They're trying to find the catch. The Echo drone just makes the connection. Nella's going to see if he can stick it again. That Echo drone should be able to pop off one more as Milon finds a kill. 15 seconds and the spray over the top. The kit's cold. Milon playing a massive power position. Tucked in the corner. He somehow finds it. Sprayed round to the heavens, and somehow they pull that out.
Milan is saving the round there. Just came around the corner, of course, with the help of the yokai, getting that stun in twice, buying just enough time. You get the injure somehow. I'm not going to say lucky, but definitely a lucky shot through the floor there, finding the head instantly. And you turn it all around. Outsiders find a second round here. On their defense, MNM, that could have been theirs. It should have been theirs. They had top floor, they had first floor, all from the get-go. They managed to start opening up the flooring from above up until 1 minute left into the round. That's when they decided to go for an execute. There was plenty of time, but maybe a bit too slow on the eventual push of that diffuser, allowing the yokai to get into a position to actually make sure that that denial was possible. Now, qualifying probability, that's what it's all about during these last couple of play days. And as you can see, MNM just need a point, and even without a point, they might be qualified today. Whereas Outsiders, even if they get a full 3-pointer, it might not be enough based on other results that happened today.
MNM, as you said, they just got to get there. They just got to find their way to OT. We're on to Cafe. We're on to a map where, you know, you do have a solid play from both these teams. It does have a good defense statistic as well. Out of a lot of these maps swinging their way towards attackers, Cafe is still quite intricate. It can be quite problematic for teams on their approach, depending on the team, obviously, to get themselves formulated. It takes not just the sort of moxie and proxy of a great finger player to swing around, but that multi-sort of streamed and faceted approach that currently MNM can't quite get nailed down. All the pressures on these windows, everything is battening down the hatches. These players, 4 of them stacked on Repel here, trying to find a way through. FMX is just going to back up. The Candelas pop round over from the top. Solotov's blinding everybody. They're going to see if they can get in. Neo finds that opener, cuts off Milan on the jump out. The cover comes through. There's the call, there's the buff, there's the cover. There's Nello somehow slinking through and finding the kit down. It's sprayed out. Somehow Nello's Claymore kills Smash and Neo at the same time, but importantly, gets the kid down. A 2 versus 1. Tyrant is all that's left. He's outside, going to open up. He might be able to play from under this if he can get the call on where the player is. Does he know? He's shooting the wrong side. Pasha drops and somehow, once again, in and amongst the chaos, Outsiders are the ones keeping it all inside.
You know, actually, in the middle of that round, which was almost the end already, I went from below at that moment in time. It was a 2v1. He was the one man last standing. And of course, if he would be jumped out on, he wouldn't be picking up the kill. That would have been end of the round. But from below, no verticality there. You make a lot of noise. And you don't know exactly where the player will be defusing from. It's just a lot of risk, in my opinion. If you had a grenade, I would have understood. Someone in from below. Also not that the case, just wanted to go for a vertical spray through the flooring.
MNM, what's happened? It seems like a little bit of a lack of control, and I'm not saying that Outsiders aren't playing well. Outsiders have had big clutch moments. It's really been edge of your seat endings to all of the 3 openings of this game. But MNM, if you look back at their attacks from previous maps, they've often had a really good, slow and steady build of control. They've seemed to have an awareness of everything that was going to be ahead of them and made sure, okay, sure, they don't win it out every time, but control and sort of a consistency there seemed to be something familiar. Here, over the 3 rounds, 1 rush and 2 steadier pushes, it seems like a little bit, well, seat of your pants. And I guess it's just seeing if the timeout was the moment there for Nello, as that auto experience was to sort of bring the boys back and say, we're losing ourselves here. We know how close we are. We know what we can do.
They might just want to go for another 5-1 comeback, It's starting to become a bit of a staple point for them here. No, jokes aside, Outsiders definitely being able to upset MNM at the every end of the round. Almost finding someone there. Knew that he was being watched through that window. Probably the other way around as well, but after that Claymore last round, not wanting to jump out.
It was a tragedy.
It was a tragedy indeed. So this time they decide to stay indoors for Outsiders. Okay, that's unfortunate. Rask able to find Neo there. Thought Neo saw him, but not realizing he was being shot at just on the edge of his shoulder, and that's an entry there for Outsiders. An important one as well, because that is just Sophia gone.
And, I mean, you got to give credit to Rask here. 6-0.
Yeah.
For a player that can have pop-off moments, but hasn't really this split, this is a huge showing on this, a game that Outsiders probably need well, more than anything for relegation battles, but MNM need it to find security for a major, because they know that every other game comes after them today. They've got a long, long night of watching if this doesn't go into at least overtime. MNM now with the back foot. Smash is finding his rotation round underneath. Solotov's already in Zulu, finds the fight and gets the connection with Milon, pulls back. Nello with the kit on the door. They're structuring their plant with a lot more time. You compare this to the first attack round last time here. There was a minute on. Smash with the C4 underneath. Could be huge, pre-placed. Ready on the tucked corner there to see if they go for the plant. Hope they try and dig their way through, but it seems like they're actually paying attention towards the big quad double wall.
There's a flank drone on those red stairs, so Smash should be caught off if he actually decides to move up, but I'm not sure if it's being watched. It did get taken out, though, so that should definitely be alarming these players, but that's almost a free kill to Tyrant. Instead, the SMG misses, and Pasha gets taken out by Solotov.
They're spraying back. Rask finds Usus, and FMX finds one more. Suddenly, they've been able to fight themselves back into the game, trying to get the catch onto the Banshee. Nello, he wants to tuck a plant, but with all of this soft, it's dangerous. It's a 1 versus 3. Technically, Solotov finds one. Nello's going to look for the fight into Laundry. The wrong time to sprint, and suddenly it's a 2 versus nobody. Downed and then out, and 4 in a row.
The realization there as well. I killed the one inside of dining. It's like, where's the last one there? Because I definitely got... Oh, it's Finka. Let's go for that repeat before the adrenaline surge comes in. It might mess up a round. MNM there, losing the early entry, then able to fight back, finding themselves on the site, but... Again, that side is so open. There's no cover whatsoever. The walls to the sides are open up. The floors from below are completely rigged with explosives. And the wall towards the white stairs are open as well. And that leaves you in that situation where Nello, well, he wanted to go for a plant. But people start dropping down the hatch. And you know that, well, there's literally just a couple of pixels. I'm safe here. And they can definitely work around that. Having to go for the fight there at that moment as well. Losing it out in the end. And of course, that is no blame to him. I just don't understand why they are so keen on pushing into that side, because they're not quite clearing enough rooms to be able to use that properly.
Outsiders. I'm not going to say they've felt entirely in control of every single one of these rounds, but they've definitely been responsive, which is one of the things that we haven't always had from them. We have especially had it on the games that they've won. You look at some of the bites and fights back they've had to get their 2 wins. They've been to OT once and it was a loss, but at this rate, they're looking very, very well put together. MNM, they've had their tag timeout. They've just got to play the game ahead of them. They were close there, but still losing out, finding themselves suddenly swung around. The drone that didn't catch the rotate, you do wonder what Neo was watching, you wonder what intel they had and they were working with. They tried to spray back, but then as we saw, Outsiders then reacted from the other side. They felt that MNM suddenly were all eyes towards the red stairs swing, and then they could then swing from the top. It's that coordination of Outsiders that really has kept MNM on the back foot.
Is that distraction move right there, right? It's the SMG that comes in, just not nets the kill. Of course, would have been better if Tyron would have dropped there, but all the guns suddenly make that 180. All of them look towards one direction, and that's when it all falls apart. That's when time starts to dwindle and buddies start to drop as well. But more importantly, new round, new opportunity for MNM. They only need 6 rounds today. So far, they have 0. There's still a lot of work to do because Outsiders is starting to near towards that 6 point themselves. But we're headed back towards that bottom floor. And this is what they were able to go for and execute last time. With about a minute left on the clock, they went for it because they had so much free time to open up all the floorboards. It's just that one yokai drone on Milon that messed up their plan and strategy.
That's it. Even though they didn't get the hit down last time they were attacking this site, for me it was definitely their closest and the one that was the most down to the wire for the side of Outsiders because of the control MNM had. They were able to stretch themselves over the top floor. You can see them getting the read on that drone early this time. They're making sure they have some awareness because the echo did cost them. Sure, Milon came in with some incredible flicks and swings around, tucked in a corner that was pretty much impossible to survive with and survived, but here, well, there's Neo getting that early take. FMX off the board, but they've worked with less bodies before and been able to work it into a win. 50 seconds, and they start hammering themselves and forcing Outsiders into a more uncomfortable situation.
That's the pure point of this hammer, just to make these defenders uncomfortable, just to provide verticality to the one attacker that will be staying up on the top floor when the execute is starting to assemble. However, yokai drones still up. Yes, they're being pinged, but they're not taken out yet, and that should definitely be one of their priorities here, as smokes and incendiary bolts are starting to come down.
That's it. That is going to pop off, going to cook them and force them into a slightly more uncomfortable situation away from the closeness of the door, but they move back. Time passed. There's a shotgun. Pasha catches one. The smoke didn't quite pop off at the right time there, and, well, did they hear the drop on the second? Swings one way. Can they get the angle? Pasha has it easier. It's a shotgun from close range, uses with the swing, but 2 seconds. They can't find the kit in the door. They're just going to try and hold the stick, but the Echo drone watches it. 5-0.
The players, as soon as they wanted to drop the hatch for MNM, the pre-fire came in from, not actually that doorway, we saw the shotgun in from VIP, able to shoot out some of the feet. That caused a bit of panic, like, we haven't cleared that out, we need to go for a drop, there is no time, a shotgun in the corner, able to rack up some kills there, and that puts Outsiders up on this 5-0 point. And we talked about how we could have 2 teams confirmed at the start of the first 2 matches. Of course, both of them needed to pick up just 6 rounds. Both of them are playing against the bottom-rated teams. It should all be a clear-cut recipe. But it doesn't seem to be the case. Outsiders, after being 7-0 twice in the stage, is deciding, you know what? It is time we start to strike back. As we see Pasha here, you see that feet being shot out there. Actually fires that shotgun at the right time. And waits until he's pre-fired here before he pulls that trigger and finds a second one. It's unfortunate. I just don't. It just seems so disconnected from MNM. Like, they're not the same team we saw last week. I think that's the comparison we have to make. Because last team they looked absolutely incredible. This week they look like they're being picked apart by Outsiders. Even though they seem to be in control for the majority of the round, it just falls apart in those last 30 seconds.
I think it's the strange dichotomy of Outsiders. We've seen them team kill each other on executes with flick headshots.
Yeah, beautiful shots.
And then we see them in a situation like this where they're responding to each other's movements. In MNM, you know, they're a bit shaky. And sure, there's a lot of weight to this game. They know that they just had to get to the end to cross the line and get themselves confirmed. That will carry on next week. They're still just that 1-point difference. But having themselves sort of handily taken here on a game that they feel like they should be able to match the pace of what they've done before, I think that's the main thing, is MNM isn't hitting a pace that they've played at. Outsiders is definitely playing above one that they've been at for a lot of the season, but here, MNM, can they get 1 before they find themselves making the harder comeback? At least they've done a 5-1 before.
Yeah, so next step is the 6-0. But if you look at the entries, actually, 5-1 in favor of MNM. Every single round but one, they've been able to find an entry, just not converted, because every single time a trade comes in sooner rather than later, and then it all starts to fall apart. This last 30 seconds now, the launches of the Tachanka are being tossed out there. A bit of a Molotov, a bit of fire coming into the cigar area, stopping them from moving in. Pasha goes aggressive, finds Nello, that's the diffuser. Yes, the trade comes out, but it's again one of those strikes that you shouldn't allow as MNM at this point.
That's it. Caught on the rotate, round on cocktail. There was the swing up, and the sort of pressure they could try and apply a bit back there on to it with Cigar locked in. They got them on the way back out the door, but that's the reason you have that player onto the piano window on the far side. The pressure comes down to the back line of FMX, who's just going to tuck himself and move and try and keep his head on his shoulders. They've still got a bit of a backline. They've still got a bit of control, and there's a minute now. The swings are coming through. Milan swinging with that instead of a standard gun is going to make things a bit trickier. And there it is, removed. The shotgun has to go aggressive and at least gets one out of the mix, but they're down, leaving just FMX. If there's a round MNM should have, it is this one. Almost confirmed by the grenade. FMX is being covered absolutely everywhere. Yes, MNM, they find 1. They have 1 lifeline on their defenses, and it's time to see if they can make it work. Outsiders, hell of a half. Now it's time to try and convert that into your attack.
They'll have plenty of opportunity to do so, Emmy. 1 round and they'll find themselves a point against MNM. 2. And they'll find themselves at the full 3 against a team that looked very favored at the start of the social vote. 91% of you at home have decided that MNM should be the ones winning this game, based on your own prediction methods. Only 9 went for outsiders. Now, of course, if you look at the standings, it is quite a logical conclusion. MNM is all the way up top, 2nd/3rd place, looking to be qualifying for the major if just a single point is attained. And outsiders, well, they have been 7-0 twice. We'll have to say that again, 7-0 twice. It's not something any team would like to have happen to them during a EUL stage. And they needed to come back from it. They needed to bounce back from it. And they definitely are doing that right now. 5 rounds is a massive improvement from what we've seen last week.
Fully locked the rotation between that core of the floor around the vault and the bathroom itself. They're not going to give themselves the usual out that a lot of teams obviously like to play, and the one that we're most familiar with, they have the swing round options, but it becomes a bit isolating if you're playing tucked into that with no cover onto the white window itself. Some gates, some time to burn around Cigar. They're waiting for the approach to come. There's a bit of pressure that might come over onto East, but it's otherwise still MNM expecting a bit of a hold and seeing if they can try and get that early bite.
Now, this site was only played 6 times before today in the European League. It was only lost once by the defense, thus giving that 83% win chance. And that has been slightly increased, of course, by outsiders. And MNM now having the opportunity to try and bank up that win percentage, try and find themselves in a good spot to start their comeback. It's something they like to do. And what better way to qualify for the major than to go for yet another 5-1 comeback?
I mean, that's it. They never make things easy for themselves. That's the MNM story. Drones steadily trying to get some intel here. The players tucked underneath. Neo does have some discs to buy himself some time, but isn't going to sit there too long because he knows even with the explosion of the grenade, chances are somebody's going to try and watch you flee and get the catch that way. There is obviously Solotov deep on the roam, the Valk all the way underneath, waiting for people to start getting internal, but look at this. Outsiders, 1:30 gone, they're still all generally outside the building, watching rotations, trying to get the catch on players and hoping to force a mistake. It's a risky strategy, and they're going to realize that as they start to try and drop in. They have to pay a little bit more attention towards the control inside. Tucked around, getting some of Cigar, there's a Runegates to find their way through, but now they at least have something. Smash just takes the damage, uses the Finker boost, and Tyrant's got an eye towards it now.
He's definitely going to be watching towards it, actually spots out the player, but unable to connect. But, you know, your Finker, you heal yourself up, you only lose like 10 damage points in the end of it as a result, and you find some very, very important like utility there. Neo does find a kill, though, but he's being pressured instantly back here, but it's an entry kill, and that is something they need to work off here. We talked about it before. They have a pretty poor conversion rate in this round, so let's make sure to do it.
Solotov with the rotation underneath. They've got the kick code now, 30 seconds, and the catch on the flank drone. Rask is close, though. Does Solotov? No, probably not. He's tucked around the side of the machinery, swings around, and Solotov's able to actually win it out. Maybe he did, and he's waiting for the next fight to come on the door. He has that one as well! Solotov, a triple. Now as the kid dropped once again, Milon is all that is left. No grenades left in pocket in 10 seconds. MNM find their second.
And this is when we can start counting again. 2 rounds out of 6 they have in a pocket. Now they have 5 more rounds to play to get the other 4.
Maths.
Calculations.
Numbers. Words.
They do mean things, as
Brain.
I've just said. But yeah, that's that first round on the defense. Now up 1 floor below. Reading and Dining coming up next. Next highest win percentage in this map for the European League. MNM need to try and hold on to that. They can afford 1 slip up, you mentioned it before, and still make it to Berlin. 1 round they can afford to lose. But after that, they need to make sure they get towards overtime. After that, it won't matter anymore if they win or lose, as long as they get that 1 point, as long as they do get 6 rounds. Now, these rounds, they don't carry along towards the next week. We have to mention that. For round differential, they do. For points, they don't. And thus, they need to get them now. Top floor extension coming through. Mute jammers being set up to make the droning work a little bit more difficult. Let them work as hard as they did before. Let them waste their HP and utility to get through these certain areas. Because there is a serial laser gate on the board, 3 of them. Again, positions that need to be burned if they want to go for an execute finally. Why are they going quick though?
It has the energy of something a bit quick. They maybe want to draw some eyes more than a lot of pace here. I think they're just sort of trying to bait something. But to be honest, that was their play before. They were sat waiting for about 1:30 before they actually tried to find their way inside the building itself. Here, I think they're stacked up with a little bit more immediacy for the chance at a catch. Neo might be that. He is round on the back line. There is... obviously, the Iruni's going to pull themselves back as well. MNM isn't playing. They're not flirting with this game. They're going to make sure that if outsiders get a kill, they're going to have to work for it through a little bit of the utility first of all. They know that there's a deficit they've got to try and work their way back to, and as they fall themselves back to the other side of the map, they're going to know how to play it.
Smash drops through. First one in the building takes care of some of that utility. Mute jammers, cameras mainly just to find themselves in a good spot. Now, I think this Gemini might be burning. Yeah, no, might have actually been shot out before it could actually burn the serial laser gate. Not quite sure as they don't get a good visual on it. Now has been able to burn it, so at least got the piece of utility they wanted. That is a good kill.
Vertical. Yeah, up from the hole inside train. Solotov was looking for a fight, and he sure found it. He's starting to do that Solotov thing where he just defines how a game starts to go. Tyrant locked and blocked off the back of the white corridor. Gets the catch over onto Smash. Basher comes around with the pressure on the back, but a little too late to get that trade and that revenge. So they have to move their way up to the top and look for the fight of the player, of somebody who's already left. They took the laundry hatch. They got the drop out of there. They realized they had their 2 frags on the top floor, and at this point can try and pull themselves a little bit back. There's always time to rotate, lads.
Double entry, you fall back to site. You do not have to stay out here. You make sure you waste as much time as possible and let them clear it out steadily.
Maestro Cam's still up there watching them?
Yeah, I think that Maestro Cam is still up. They might want to go for a bit of a punch because Nello's going to get some free information here. Could actually get some zaps out on somebody's player. That's a hammer coming in.
Yeah. There it is.
Milan was running towards it, not letting it stay up any longer than it was.
Ooh, Solotov almost caught out there. Swung his way into the heavy machinery room as the pressure starts to come through onto the double reading wall. They're looking for anybody, but again, MNM's not handing them anything. They know they have a man advantage. They're trying to put some pressure close by. 10 seconds, the hop in, the swing round. There's almost a trade out. It is, it's a take. There's a shotgun, gets the drop onto the laundry hatch. A fight back round from FMX. He's got to find 3, he's got to find 2. But there is only 1-0. Ooh, did get one on the way out the door, but MNM, 3 rounds.
3 more to go then, Emmy. They're starting to bring it back here from that 5-1 scoreline, or rather a 5-0 scoreline. It is now 5-3. And they're still on that defense, now headed towards the bottom floor, towards kitchen and service. Cooking. Now, I forgot the last
Sorry,
word.
just it was very dramatic.
Kitchen, service,
Kitchen,
I was like, and
service,
cooking. I forgot about that part. I have to make sure I include it.
Cooking?
Cooking, yeah.
Cooking.
Which one is cooking and which one is service?
Well, cooking is obviously where the cooking stuff is, underneath our screen. What do you mean?
For a second, I thought that, you know, at the dishes there was going to be...
anyone who works
anyone
who works in the service industry has worked in the service industry just swore at their monitor about
Listen, service entrance leads into cooking. You see where the confusion is coming from?
No, because it's the end. It's where do you think the service?
Well, it's not cooking entrance,
where do you think the service comes from towards the bakery?
Through the cooking area.
From service entrance
to service entrance into the bakery.
You're fired.
Either way,
okay. They have themselves a lockdown here on kitchen. They also have an Echo drone and users back on. Well, I say back on, playing the role of the Warden. Obviously, it was played by Solotov in the previous round. It's an awareness towards the chance at a smoke plant. It's the awareness towards the chance at a tuck plant. It's everything to play a little bit arms off. There's the catch on the first Selma. Bit of a blow when that might be, yes, that is your only hard destruct that you've brought. No one's got the pocket gadget, so you got to make sure the next connect. There's a C4 that definitely does. Goodbye Twitch, goodbye a lot of potential other challenge towards any of those mute jammers, any of the rest of the destruction onto the walls.
It's definitely keeping the player inside a wedding at bay for just a little bit here, but that drone got just the amount of information that was necessary. That grenade's about to start flying in. Do they have a magnet ready to go? Actually, no. The nade put back in pockets. Coming out now, though, but the wedding entrance, a double kill from Smash, and that could be crucial and round differentiating here.
That's it. Obviously, they just need to try and find the one to push them into that OT fight to make things very uncomfortable. Milon finds another tacked on. It's a 2 versus 4. Nello and Neo are able to swing out. Will just survive. The scraps of the grenade, a spray out over the opposite side. They know where Nello is. He can't get himself onto anything or out of a way. There's a... that one should get the kill. Yep. It does. No escaping that. 6-3. MNM, they need 3 rounds without a problem to get to OT to go to Berlin.
Exactly in the middle of the room, by the way, that grenade. There was definitely no escaping that rather than running out the doorway. But yes, 3 more rounds, no slip-ups. You've just had yours. And that means you headed back towards the top floor. Now, we've seen them win the top floor. We've seen them win reading. That means they need to find a third site to win at some point. But for now, because round differential might come back at the end of the day and be the determining factor, whether or not you go to Berlin or not, you go for what's safe. You go for where you know you can win. You go for comfort. And that's where they're trying to go up for the top floor here. No verticality from above they need to worry about, except for, of course, a hatch drop, maybe the skylight play, but you don't have to worry about Sledge opening up that ceiling, starting to, you know, rain down bullets upon you, because that has been covered off by the concrete ceiling.
Now, the last time Outsiders attacked this site, it was a minute 30, as I said before, outside the building. They tried to hope to get a catch here, and since then we've seen a little bit more pace, and especially there in that recent round, it started to go away from them until a jump in with a double kill across the bow of Bakery. So, are we going to see a little bit more pace from Outsiders? Are we going to get a little bit more oomph on that initial approach, potentially try and drive themselves up from the bottom?
It's always a bit like that kind of play, right? That jump in. That works once, it might work twice, but you're not going to get away with it 3 times in a row. And especially if you talk about pace, if you start going for something that is getting close to a rush, that will work once. Probably not twice. They'll be ready for it. And MNM, of course, playing at this moment at a 6-3, they know they cannot afford a slip-up. Should be prepared for anything. They should be prepared for a rush to come through, and definitely for a crossfire, a long angle from Rask like that.
That was it. That was the drone game. The toes a tyrant. Almost takes him out a little bit early. He's going to be playing with a sliver of health, and when you're hitting with a hard-hitting DMR against a lot of spray, you kind of need everything in your pockets to get that connection in time. Smash finds his way into Cigar. Takes out the mute jammers with, to be honest, very little problem, but again, about 40 seconds faster than he did last time round. Outsiders have attributed a little bit more pace and a little bit more of approach. Nello has the cams, the eyes and the pings towards the players going for the rotate.
Look at how quickly they're taking care of this utility, though. There is just no one there for MNM trying to stop them from doing it. So much utility plays this way. What is there to stop them? Absolutely nothing. It's just a couple of mute jammers. At some point, they know no one's going to be out there, and Outsiders will just take that for free without any contest coming out from the side of MNM.
Tucked round, they feel confident with the damage that they've done, so they're going to eye up the drop of the hatch itself by the looks of it. A big rotate, maybe. No, they're sort of trading a bit back and forth, actually. One of them went up and then dropped down red once again. The flashes come round, the pressure onto the corner, coordination and communication as they drive themselves closer. They want to just grenade this little tucked corner, make sure the camera's gone and nobody's there. That is now clear, so they can start droning their way down. Hope they can put some pressure onto the swing. 50 seconds. And now we start to see FMX stack up. There's a C4. Solotov finds Rask. That grenade, does it find? No, just falls a little bit short. They pop up and try and swing round. There it is, Nello. He's able to make that Alder scream over either side. The Candela's popped down, but with nobody else to stack them up, FMX has to rotate his way back round from the skylight hatch just to suffer the end of a flawless. 2 more rounds, MNM. 2 more rounds.
Continue the counting indeed. As the top floor was won, but that's what I said before. They won the top floor, they won reading, The third site might be the problem. Round 12 might be the decisive factor here if we continue with that same pace. If they now find reading and fireplace, they need to go back towards either bakery or towards the mining room, which they haven't played yet. It's untested. We have no clue what to expect. It's probably going to be somewhat similar towards reading, but just moved over to different sites. But that's what MNM need to realize as well. Let's just work off these 2 rounds that we can win, then we give all our focus onto round number 12. That could be qualifying them for the major. And after that, it doesn't matter anymore if they win or lose, because they will be qualified. All they need is a point. All they need is 6 rounds. So for those of you wondering, like, they need to win, they need to win. Surely they want to win, but they don't need to win. That's the most important part here. But I don't know if that's helping you as a team or not.
No.
It's like, oh, we only need 6 rounds.
It's tough because you get into the mental dilemma. The pressure of we have to succeed is sometimes some of the most overburdening pressure. It's not, you know, another game in a season. It's not the build-up of the fight to continue. It's the one to finish. And that final 100 meters in a 5-kilometer race is sometimes the toughest.
I mean, like, you always hear these teams say, oh no, we take it round by round, or we take it game by game. We don't look forward too much. Nello said it himself, we take this game by game. But if you're literally 2 rounds away, will it not become round to round? Or looking forward, starting to count down yourselves? Which could be getting you out of that comfort, or out of that focus, rather.
It's going to be a hell of a Nello end screen camera if they pull this off.
Well, even if they just get 6 points, that's basically when we can roll the cameras there.
I mean, that's it. They're fighting for more, but there's still the difference here. Outsiders, they're going to see if they can try and get their start once again from the top, catch any loose players. Remember, it was 2 early bodies that suffered. Rask has got himself stacked up underneath on the Christmas door. Might be trying to see if they can put a bit more of a surprise strike down around pillars earlier. Here's a pressure. Might come around now. He's actually going to rotate round.
Nella's coming in.
Pasher, I read, sorry, not Rask.
Not quite sure if they actually took out that serial laser gate. It could actually, that one of those flashbangs just bumps in, gets rid of it. Smash still in a position here he cannot push through, so the Gemini replicator will be sacrificed to get rid of the serial laser gate. Actually got it. As there is one on the window, there's 3 people out there.
Oh, Pasha, he is now playing that close angle. The man I mistook earlier is definitely in this potential power position. If he can get an early strike here, he knows somebody is so close, and it's such a tricky, scrappy fight to have. Tyrant waits for the ping round. The cover comes through, and they're out of there. Neo is left on the top. 1:10, and he's going to see if he can potentially get one out on his way down before they entirely encompass him. Waste some utility, swing round, has some cover and support, can't quite find his way out the door. There's a bit of an impact, there's a bit of an angle, there's a hope. Somebody's swinging around the corner, but again, it's just wasted time. There's the catch on the Gemini. Somehow he gets out of there. And it's a bit of a missed moment there, I think, for Outsiders. For the 4 people that were going for the close down, he's able to survive. Duomai's able to make things a bit more awkward. Pressure comes around from the top, though. Milon, 40 seconds. And he's going to start seeing if he can try and stress it, as Pasha does enter from the Christmas door and sneaks his way towards Pillar. Nobody is loose inside the train room this time round. They have drones watching the rotation up from red, so they might catch that loose player. Can they? Try and stick on reading. Well, Solasov swings Zulu and says otherwise.
FMX wanted to move over, I think, to use the Heartbreach gadget as they removed the Mewjammer before, but it's going to be the entry def with 25 seconds left on the clock. Nello will find yet another one, Emmy. It seems like they might live to fight another round and potentially bring it indeed to Berlin.
Pasha's in the sight, gets one. Now he's going to see if he can try and tuck the plant. 10 seconds. This can go wrong once. It's covered, though. It's locked in. That plant is going to be stuck post-plant. 3 versus 2. There's one inside laundry, 2 just tucked around the corner. They get the laundry fight. They're looking for the kit. They're hoping they have the cover. Users, he's trying to find the man. He doesn't find the connection in time. Now it is this, the 2 versus 1. They spray each other. Neo suffers the next. One just has to watch. One has to try and get the kit defused. Neo's gonna not get it. The impact gets the lockdown. 17 seconds. Users, is he gonna stick it? Will he try and get every second? Swings, no!
He could have stuck it. He could have stuck it. And that would have been it. That would have been them potentially going to Berlin, but no. Outsiders with an upset here. 9% of the people at home believed in them being able to win it. And they do it. They break MNM's dreams for now. It will continue on to the next Playday. They might even still be confirmed today if BDS, Na'Vi, and G2 drop points. That's how simple.